All right. Almost made a major rookie move there. It was awesome. Had my speakers on. They're behind this thing. And you can kind of see it. There they are. Hello. So yeah, had whoa. Ah, the set's going down. Had the speakers on, and you turn the microphone on when the speakers on, and bad news happens. Gets loud. Gets crazy. Oh, that's turned on too. Oh. There we go. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday morning, or if it's Sunday. Tell me what happens in the future. Who wins the sporting events? Love it. Hope you guys are doing good, though. Let me pull my chat back up. There we are. Hello. Cool. We got Sarah Fuller, Autumn Beauty, Christine, Jack. Oh, I'm assuming that's how you say that. Kim W. Nice to see you. Jacqueline. And Pretty Girl. Wow. Pretty Girl. Hello, Pretty Girl. I had a bird. Taught it how to say pretty bird. That was pretty cool. And here, kitty, kitty, which I think is very funny when you hear a bird say, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. That actually is pretty comical. Rhea, nice to see you. You were in early in BB, Texas. Hello, y'all. Howdy. So good stuff. Avril, Kush Nation. Nice. Jamaica, man. Sippy, good stuff. Basila. Hope everybody's doing well. We're going to do a fun little chat about a success story, another one of those things that Goddard talked about. There's like 6 or more of them in this particular chapter. This one's really cool, though, because like has this childlike innocence, this boy in there. And it's not about the boy, but the boy's the one that actually is the lesson to take away. And it really gets into doubts. I mean, I think that's the funny thing. A lot of us like question whether this works or not works. And I think that's one of the big dilemmas that most of us face. Some of us get to a place where it's happened so many times in our life, it's not really an issue of if, it's just an issue of, wow, it's a trip, how much? And then sometimes you even get deeper and deeper into it where you're like, oh my gosh, every thought I think is actually affecting me and the world, right? Like you can go down an entire path, but let's start from just the basic fundamentals of trying to manifest a thing, trying to manifest something to happen in our lives. Whether this works, whether it doesn't work, am I doing the technique right? Do I do it often enough? Do I pause properly in between sentences of my affirmations? Maybe I'm putting them together too closely, right? Maybe that comma should really be more of a semicolon. I don't know how grammar works when it comes to law of attraction, right? And I'm being silly, of course. It's not. It's about the process and knowing that by our very directing of our focus, by our very decisions of what we would like to experience, by the very nature of calling that out to the universe, whoever's listening, don't know if there's someone with a satellite dish, out in eons away, or if it's our higher selves, or if it's universe, source, God, Allah, whatever, Yahweh, right? Like whatever we want to call it. I don't know. But something's listening or reflecting it back, and that's how it's made, whatever, right? When we know that, when we realize that, when we actually accept that, whatever we focus on, not just the specific person you're trying to get, not just this car you're trying to manifest, not just this new job you're trying to manifest, but everything you think, feel, say, and do is actually creating things in your life. When we start to accept that, then our whole life kind of changes and takes shape. So let me tell you anything right off the bat. Yes, your techniques are working. Yes, you're doing them often enough. What gets us most of the time is disbelief and doubt. So the great little example is this boy, and I think it's just cute. It's just a cute story. But he never knew not to believe. He never had that precondition. He never thought to himself, well, maybe this is a bunch of hooey. My grandma always said, right? There was never that action in his life. And so because of it, obviously, I mean, it's a success story. Hello, spoiler alert, the guy is going to get what he wants. But it's that knowing. It's that, yeah, this is how you do it. Cool, thanks. And he runs off and does it. It's that childlike innocence that so many of us fail to have or forget or let go of, or doubt, or question. And then there is a form of doubts, and we'll cover this too, right towards the end. But there's also the form of doubt of, maybe I don't think I'm good enough, right? Maybe I don't think they're going to love me because of who I am, right? There's there's things that can happen in that regard. And then that's the self-love stuff. And that's maybe that part of ourselves that needs a little bit of a hug or whatever, right? So we can talk about that. But let's get into the example if I may. This is a story of a very unexpected result of an interview with a lady who came to consult me. Of course, this is Goddard talking, not me. One afternoon, a young grandmother, a businesswoman in New York, came to see me. She brought along her 9-year-old grandson, who was visiting from his home in Pennsylvania. In response to her question, I explained the law of assumption, describing in detail the procedure to be followed in attaining an objective. The boy sat quietly, apparently absorbed in a small toy truck, while I explained to the grandmother the method of assuming the state of the consciousness that would be here where he already desired to, where your wish already desired to be fulfilled. I told her the story of the soldier in camp who ate each night, fell asleep, imagining himself to be in his own bed and at home. When the boy and his grandmother were leaving, he looked up at me with great excitement and said, "I know what I want, and I know how to get it." Surprised, I asked him what he wanted. He told me he had his heart set on a puppy. To this, the grandmother vigorously protested, telling the boy that it had been made clear repeatedly that he could not have a dog under any circumstances, that his father and mother would not allow it, and the boy was too young to care for it properly, and furthermore, the father had a deep dislike for dogs. He actually hated to have one around. Little boy didn't care, did he? All these are arguments the boy, passionately desirous of having a dog, refused to understand. "Now I know what to do," he said. "Every night, just as I'm going off to sleep, I'm going to pretend that I have a dog and we are going for a walk." "No," said the grandmother, "this is not what Mr. Neville means. This was not meant for you. You cannot have a dog." Approximately 6 weeks later, the grandmother told what was to her astonishing story. The boy's desire to own a dog was so intense that he had absorbed all that I had told his grandmother of how to attain one's desire, and he believed implicitly that at last he knew how to get a dog. Putting this belief into practice, for many nights, the boy imagined he was lying in his bed beside him, the dog. In imagination, he pretended the dog actually feeling its fur, things like playing with the dog, taking it for a walk, filled its mind. Within a few weeks, it happened. A newspaper in the city in which the boy had organized a special program in connections with Kindness to Animals Week, all school children were requested to write an essay on why I would like to own a dog. One, not only did this boy manifest this weird way, right? A lot of us get so hung up on how it has to happen. Not only does he manifest this goofy way, but it's specific. It's like this was created for all these other school children to experience, but for him. Like the whole thing was for him all along. Everyone else was going along with it because who cares? It's cool. It's fun. But it's just funny how life works. Like, yeah, you could say that or it's coincidentally that way, but no matter how you look at it, this boy was having these crazy thoughts. At the same time, someone was organizing an animal contest for children, right? Like, things were happening in the background at the same time this boy was holding these thoughts. Again, this is perfection. It's something amazing about the way manifestation works. So anyway, why I would like to own a dog. After entries from all the schools were submitted and judged, the winner of the contest was announced. Guess what, people? The very same boy who weeks before in my apartment in New York had told me, "Now I know how to get a dog," was the winner. In an elaborate ceremony which was publicized with stories and pictures in the newspaper, the boy was awarded a beautiful collie puppy. In relating the story, the grandmother told me that if the boy had been given the money with which to buy a dog, the parents would have refused to do so and would have used it to buy a bond for the boy or put it in a savings bank for him. Furthermore, if someone had made a boy a gift of a dog, they would have refused it and given it away. But the dramatic manner in which the boy got the dog, the way he had won the citywide contest, the stories, pictures in the newspaper, the pride and achievement and joy of the boy himself all combined to bring about a change of heart in the parents. And they found themselves doing that which they never conceived possible. They allowed him to keep a dog. All this, the grandmother explained to me, and she concluded by saying that there was one particular kind of dog on which the boy had his heart set. It was a collie. It's a beautiful story, and one that so many of us need to remind ourselves of from time to time. It's not possible. I can't do it. Third party. There's this, there's that, there's blah, blah, blah. There's a big barricade in front of me stopping me from getting there. All that stuff is a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap, people. There's what? How many? There's supposedly 82 people on there, right? 82 of you right now. This is a bunch of crap. It doesn't matter what right now says. It doesn't matter what's there right now. It is that childlike innocence. It is that belief in knowing that what I think and focus on is what creates my reality. Whatever spectrum we are in believing of that concept is going to affect the doubts we have. But the doubts actually pull us away from the thing that we want. It's those doubts. And I'm not saying you have to believe. I'm not telling you have to. I'm saying in my life, and I'm sharing because I love this stuff, but in my life, yeah, I've experienced a lot of things, and I seriously, over practice, have come to realize, yeah, there's something to this. And I've even gone so far as to say everything happens for a reason, literally. Oh man, that's fun, because that even starts to piece together and still hold true, by the way, at least from my testing so far. But what we focus on is what we create. Now, just because I'm consciously doing some exercise, I'm consciously thinking, imagining, feeling the wish fulfilled, and then bam, all right, I just sent connective, and I just sent mojo to make my magic happen, and now my reality's coming to me. And then 4 seconds later, you're like, I'm not good enough. I don't think this is going to happen. Now, here's the problem, is you're thinking thoughts and you're feeling a feeling of a wish fulfilled, an assumption. I'm not good enough. It doesn't feel good. Right? Problem is, that's also law of attraction. Why don't we manifest instantly? Why? So many people ask, why can't I manifest instantly? This is why. Where are we at on the spectrum of constantly getting our thoughts towards what it is that, again, I liken it. There's an X-Man, he's got the red sunglasses. I don't know, for those of you, if not, I can explain it in a good enough terms, but whenever he looks at stuff with his glasses off, like fucking laser beams, I just said a bad almost word, I think, laser beams shoot out of his eyes, and, very devastating. So, of course, you learn to control that kind of power, life is good. But when you don't, and you take your glasses off and shoot down a bridge, well, yeah, people get mad. So again, that's what our focus is, our thoughts. They're like laser beams. And so many of us think that, no, I just take my glasses off. It's the only time I use it. No, they're always on. Always on. So when we have those doubts, when we have an emotional response of fear, we've got to understand that's not helping us. Now, a lot of us are like, whoa, okay, well I have them. What happens? Well, that's good. It's okay. Doubts happen. That's okay. So one, if it's once in a while, I've said this many a time, if it's once in a while, occasionally I have doubts, occasionally once in a while, for the most part, everything's solid. Everything's good. Care about myself. This is a great relationship. It's a healthy scenario, right? It's not, I don't know, there's any slew of things, but everything's solid. It's just once in a while. Dude, affirmations are your go-to, for sure. Have some affirmations, save them in your phone, put them someplace, have them on a Word document you pull up at work, have it printed out on a mirror at home, have them all over the place. Have little note cards. Have something. Email yourself every day. Reminder. Beep. Have a daily appointment that pops up on your calendar before you start work. And it's like, remember these 3 things. You are loved. You are magic. You are gold. Life can change now. Right? Like, that could be your 4 things you just say to yourself every day. Which, by the way, great advice. Every day. It's having that kind of attitude and realization. But, so affirmations can save you through those little easier times. But it's those times where there's doubts, maybe related to beliefs we hold. Maybe people with money are corrupted, or people who have a lot tend not to give to others, or people that are rich are unkind, or maybe they can't love me because I made a mistake. Maybe I want to be with them, but I'm angry with them. So every time we talk, we get fights. Right? Like, I've actually heard people say, like, yeah, I get in a fight with him all the time, so how can I, like, manifest him to be okay with that? And it's like, well, wait, like, that's kind of not the right way to look at things. Like, we're experiencing situations because of us. they say us pushed out. I hate pushing that phrase, but we create stuff and it happens to us. So, I mean, that's very apropos at the moment. So we're creating scenarios with experiences with people, and we want the reflection on the screen to change. I'm playing a movie projector, right? The little noise it makes, right? The clickety-click. Even for those of us that are really old now, it's probably digital. Who knows? It's like a DVD or something, but whatever, right? And it's being cast up on the screen. And we want to change that now. It's like, well, it's post-editing. Man, they're done. Editing is complete. This is the story. It's out there. You already sent it. It's now being reflected back to you. Don't bother changing it now. It's like a day late. That's a day late and $1 short, as they would say. You want to change what's happening out there, then you change what's going on inside yourself, and then tomorrow, or next day, or an hour from now, or a minute from now, then things are going to change. So it's that standpoint of knowing that I can shift the way things are happening. I'm having a small little issue with somebody. We're having an argument. It's not like a long-term problem. Yeah, we can work on this from a standpoint of, there's something going on inside of me where whatever it is that he's doing is bothering me, or I'm upset with him because of this, or I'm upset with her because of this. So now when he leaves his socks on the floor, now when she puts the toilet paper roll on where it's coming down the front, which is how it should be, come on. Whatever. Like, I'm going to get mad at something stupid. Toothpaste cap is off again. Can't believe it. Honey! Right? Like, really? Toothpaste cap? Is that really what's going on right now? Right? It's not, of course. So in those situations, look at what's going on inside. It's you. It's not them. Like they say, it's me. It's not you. That's why we're breaking up. It really is in this case. So from that standpoint, those doubts will go away when you kind of work on what's causing the doubts. Now, there are deeper issues that can happen with people. People can have situations go back to childhood. Maybe they were abused. Maybe something weird happened. I don't know. I had someone that was asking me questions in an email recently. I was like, this is normally what it is. I mean, without spending an hour and a half talking to you, I don't know. I don't know why you have this scenario. Maybe that's just the way you like it, right? Maybe you like relationships that are a little weird. Maybe not the normal balanced kind of way. Like, who am I to say, right? And some people, we're wired differently. We all march to the beat of a different tune. So look at what it is that you desire in a relationship. And then if what you desire is something that maybe a person's saying, no way, no how, sorry, never, and you're like, I'm going to make you one way or another. Well, maybe it's good to think, all right, let's find somebody that wants to play the sports I want to play, rather than trying to get somebody who's on the chess team to want to play sports. Because that's just not how he's wired, right? Like, we're trying to make something happen that's not necessarily so. So doubts can creep in for a lot of weird reasons. People don't like that and want to be able to make everybody the way we want them, but people are people. I think there's so many examples and ways that we could say, that's not you. That's pushed out. Like, you don't even know that person. You've never met them. But they just went and shot somebody. That's not you. I promise. Right? But again, there's times where we see reflections of ourselves because that's us pushed out, because I'm seeing something in somebody, because I'm insecure in myself, because something I experienced as a child, because someone stole from me, someone took my heart, someone maybe do whatever. And so a lot of times that can cause doubts to creep in. These are some of the things we typically call self-love. Spend some time with yourself. These are the ones that when they happen, you want to look at them. You want to go home to having doubts because my dad didn't love me, or because X, Y, and Z. And don't say it out loud. Don't email me, Dan, my dad left me 1,000,000 years ago and he never loved me, and and why is my life the way it is? Well, stop focusing on the fact that your dad left you. And that's true. But acknowledge it, see it, right? Love it. I'm not saying run away from it. I'm saying no, run up to it, hug it, and go, it's not like that anymore. Or this is many years later, and Dad, I love you. I'm going to let go of this. Maybe do astral letters, Ho'oponopono, something. You can do a lot of things, and you can forgive these situations in the past. And you will find that when you forgive, when you let go, when you give that part back to the universe, you're like, I'm done with holding this. I'm done with it. You will find your life changes. I had a lot of strain. It's one little personal piece I'll share here. I had a lot of strain in my life. Brother, and I love him dearly. It's my brother, and I love him forever. But him and I kind of are having a little issue, and I've done astral letters and stuff, don't worry, and I love them, and when we talk, it's civil and everything. There's no arguments. We're just kind of in very different places right now, and in my case, this was someone I held on a pedestal for most of my life. A lot of us have done this. It's the only reason I'm sharing. We've got someone that we hold on a pedestal. It's someone that we consider everything they say is gold, everything they say is solid, no matter what. And maybe in some point of our life, we realize, man, they're human. They're human. They're not Superman. They're not mistake-free. This belief you've held of them for many, many years is maybe not quite fair. And so you need to remove them from the pedestal. And that does create sort of a different experience between you and them. Now, instead of everything they say, you being like, oh, tell me more, right? Now it's more like, yeah, I don't know. And that creates this like, whoa, what's going on? So sometimes we've got things in our life that we hold, people that maybe we've placed in a position of power, that maybe we need to let go of that. Maybe we've seen that someone that was so successful, but really they were jerks. No one liked them in their personal lives. Like, right? Like, yeah, you can have some things sometimes, but there's sometimes effects that come with that statue. You can't be the dictator of the world and expect that everybody in their hearts actually loves you, because you're a dictator. You dictate. You tell people what they must do and feel and say. Even if you mean well, there's going to be people that don't agree. I mean, shoot, my channel's an example. There's plenty of people that disagree with me. And I'm trying really hard to share stuff from my heart, right? It's the same thing. So sometimes we've got to let go of things. Sometimes these things hold on to us as much as we hold on to them. And when we finally release it, that doubt goes away. There's no need for it anymore, because that anchor doesn't keep popping back up. It's not tugging back at you from this thing that happened when you were a child. So these are some of the very powerful ways to get over doubts. Be investigative. Look into it, right? Be intentional. Once you kind of see it, like, I want to be specific. I want to find the thing that is kind of creeping up on me. What is it? Why? Why do I doubt myself? Why do I not think I'm good enough? What is it? Be kind of looking into that. Be intentional, specific about it. Be involved. Once you get something, kind of look to see, okay, what can I do to change? It's not okay how it is. It's not okay to keep going in the direction you've been going. It's not going to make this better, right? You've been doing that, and this problem continues. This Band-Aid you keep slapping on, this affirmation that you keep doing moment after moment after moment. These are the ones that we want to heal. So be involved. Find something I can do to change from within to make my outer world change with it. And then be inspired. One, be inspired just to keep doing this because you realize what you're doing by changing. You realize by staying focused on this path of change that this old self, this old skin, like a snake shedding a skin, right? This old self is past, is gone. Dogs shed fur, birds shed feathers, right? Like we shed skin like mad, right? It's a part of life, is shedding the old, becoming new. And that's always the thing that we need to remember. We're constantly repainting our picture for tomorrow. Constantly. Whatever's going on right now that sucks, I promise you it can get better. Boom. You start right there. You step on that solid footing. Well, it can get better. Oh, wow. My foot didn't cave in. My knee didn't buckle. Oh my God, I took a step. I promise, no matter what is before you, know that. This little boy manifested a contest so he could get a dog with fanfare and balloons and raining down confetti, just frankly making a mess, frankly. So this little boy got a dog and then made a mess. And because of that mess, he got to keep the dog. What? Huh? What's your obstacle? What are you hung up on? This guy made a friggin' ticker tape parade happen. Not bad. Not bad for a little boy. A lot of people say kids can't even manifest. Well, he learned some tricks at an early age. I'd love to meet this guy now. He's probably, I don't know who, he's probably, I don't know. I don't even know. I can't even, I can't even think of some of the older guys' names. There's a couple of, I can't think of their names. Whatever. Sid Guru was one of them, but I know it's not him. And there's the other guy that's Bashara or something, whatever. Anyway, you guys can help out in the test. I can't remember what that dude's name is. But anywho, yeah. So that's it in a nutshell. Kid manifested a dog. Great example. Didn't doubt. Didn't question it. Didn't. I mean, that's awesome when you've got that level of belief. So I think of that and understand that it's okay that we maybe are questioning things. And again, all of us are in varying degrees of all this stuff. So I can't just make blanket statements. This is what you should do. Kind of assess where you are, what's going on, and yeah, how you can improve or make that better or worse or same or whatever. So hopefully that makes a difference. Now it's time to open up for questions, preguntas. I'm going to try something different where I got a larger version of the chat. You apparently can pop it out. I don't know if you guys can too, but that helps because I don't know what... there's all sorts of interesting stuff in here that happens. So anyway, we're going to try to see if we can find some questions. We got some hellos. We got all sorts of stuff scrolling down. People saying hi to each other. Oh, first off, Christine, if you're still here, the fact that your daughter was in Footloose, one of my all-time favorites, and the fact that it's brought up in Guardians of the Galaxy, by the way, I love Footloose, love Kevin Bacon. There's a thing where on Jimmy Fallon, I want to say, they did an episode where he came out on like the 25th anniversary of Footloose and did that like entry dance. Anyway, yeah, I've got problems. There's times where I should hand my man card to someone and just be like, all right, here it is. Sorry. I'll see if I can collect that back at another time. So anyways, love that stuff. Okay, manifested evening with friends. I love that. A lot of people saying hello. I love it. You are awesome. Let's see. Love. Too many people saying nice things. I love that. You may. I don't know what that. You say hi. Hey Dan, I've noticed that my doubts pop up less and less each day. Even though it's hard to believe that you have Smith you want for 100%. SMTH. I don't know. I believe that I am very close as I feel different from within. That's awesome. Turn your magic on. That's a great way. When you feel different on the inside and you start to feel hope. You start to see hope where there wasn't any. You start to see a light at the end of the tunnel. It's weird. I'm telling you, it's just a thing. When you turn it on inside and you're like, hey, this is working out no matter what. All of a sudden, lights are green, parking spaces open up, birds fly down and look at you and go, hey, hello, and then they fly away. It's amazing. It's like being in a Disney movie all the time. I can't. Maybe exaggerating. Okay, can you revise movie scenes? It's been doing that recently. This is Josephine DeMarco that's asking this. Yeah, you can revise anything. Movie scenes, especially if they're your future scenes still. Yeah, I think they should always kind of take on new form, new shape, or at least new depth. And I do also, by the way, believe it's a very good idea to include additional scenes. I don't think it's good just to master one scene. No. You want to have multiple scenes. If you're working on a relationship, if you're working on a lot of things, if you're working at a company, for example, you still want to see yourself in the copy room, see yourself in the break room, see yourself talking to the boss, see yourself relaxed with your knees crossed talking to the boss, whatever. Get into whatever level of, imagination you want to get. Shoot, that's how you do that. All right, let's see. I can't. Awesome. Sorry, I'm just trying to read these. I could read them all out loud, but you never know what's actually in them. Jack always survives. They leave together. I don't know if that's Jack from the movie. Is it Titanic concept anyway? Okay. Anyway, hi from England. Some huge inspiration. Whenever I visualize and try to feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled, my ego tries to influence the visualizations with reasons why it is not true or ain't happening. How do you handle this? So I guess the way I kind of see that at first is, are we trying to manifest something that's large, larger than normal? It's a few steps past believable? If I pulled it back a hair, say, for example, I'm trying to manifest and I want to marry somebody, right? But they're famous and successful, and maybe I've never, ever even talked to them, right? So maybe imagining marriage is sort of tough, right? So maybe in that step, you kind of jump into the more, I'm going to manifest meeting him and talking to him face to face. Now that starts to be something that's a little easier to believe and create and manifest. So my first thought would be that. The way you see ego ties into it, ego comes into play when it's I'm better, I'm worse. It's the I'm right, I'm wrong. Like a lot of those types of thoughts in our minds are a lot of ego. But trying to influence, like doubt's a different thing. I mean, I don't think that's the ego as much as I think like we've got a self-love kind of thing, like I said, or some sort of thing that we got to let go of, kind of heal. And a lot of times that makes a big difference. I hope that kind of gets you stepping in the right direction. Much love back to you, Simply Divine. I love the story why we as adults have forgotten, right? This is Giselle. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to take a step to say Giselle. That's the name. I love that story. We as adults have forgotten how to do what this child did. Thank you for reminding us. Well, it was Goddard, and so I'll just say for him, you're welcome. He'd sound different probably, but there you go. Okay, cool. I write a list of amazing things I have manifested, things in the weirdest ways. Yes, that's awesome. Good for you, Avril. So it's a great story. It truly is. I agree. Let's see what's going on with this. Oh, the effing laser beams. He didn't like that. I love when it jumps. There we go. Effing laser beams. New. All right. You got to do that. Let's see. It's God. Oops. I didn't mean to hide that one. Oh, well. Sorry. It's so hard to do these. Hey, everybody. 98 people watching. Woo, 20 likes. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys like, please click the like button if you're enjoying so far. It does actually make a difference, apparently. YouTube uses a lot of weird things, so if you ever want to help my channel, I mean, one of the easiest things you can do is like and share and watch them. I mean, that's about the best thing I could ever hope for. And if you're crazy and want to put a comment on there, man, get crazy and put a comment on there. Shoot, all that stuff helps. You really are hitting the spot. Well, thank you. You're hitting my spot, too. Melanie, I thought about driving a nicer car because that's what wealthy people do. I got a rental this week, 5 days. Not what I meant, but it was cool. One thing I would also consider, Melanie, is I know this for a fact because my older brother actually worked at Microsoft when Bill Gates was still there. Bill Gates actually showed up to work every day in like a Honda Accord. Like, it wasn't a really nice car. He had a very practical car. Now, the guy had like a Ferrari at home and stuff, I think. Pretty sure, even though he lived on Whidbey Island, I believe. But again, he was very practical in that matter. So was the other dude, and I'm drawing a blank on what his name is. Anyway, it sounds like I know what I'm talking about when I can't remember someone's name. But that being said, some of these guys actually don't have super fancy cars. People that actually are reasonably successful don't waste money, typically. Buying a brand new car, you waste money driving it right off the lot. Buying a car that's 2 years old that was maybe leased, you actually get a really awesome, very newish car without losing that 30% right off the bat. So sometimes being smart, it can tie into what we want, and you can still end up with exactly the car of your dreams, but maybe 2-3 year old version of it, and be like, oh, this is amazing. So something to consider. Just throwing it out there. Every time when I have doubt, I watch your videos. Well, that helps. I can't be there for all of you guys, Pita, but thank you. That's very sweet of you. Question, Dan. And this is from Ken Ruan. Question, Dan, I want to manifest someone to talk to me again. She hasn't spoken to me in a whole month. Well, keep imagining her reaching out and speaking to you. Either a text or something, whatever is a believable way. Keep imagining it. Keep feeling how excited you're going to be to finally hear from her again. Keep thinking about that and then what that feeling is. Oh, man, can you imagine how awesome that's going to be when she does that, when she finally does text you back or when, not text you back, but text you and says, hey, I miss you, whatever, right? And you're going to feel so good inside. That's actually what's going to do that creation for you. That's how that happens. So it's pretty awesome. I manifested a BMW while driving other cars. Someone was talking about a BMW recently. It's kind of funny. Yep. Yeah. If you like the Beamer, man, get out there. Thank you for thinking I'm hilarious. I don't know. I do have a link to my first stand-up if you actually have not seen it. It's not the best. My little sister's actually pretty talented. I just have fun. I like the improv and I like trying to be funny, but a lot of joke grenades out there. Hey, Dan, when I get suddenly romantic thoughts by itself about a relationship that I desire, is it a sign? Yeah, okay. I mean, that's a good thing. It's an indication, like it's getting you thinking in the end, right? So without a doubt, it doesn't necessarily mean, yeah, for sure, hey, keep doing what you're doing is kind of what that implies to me, right? When you get a sign that you like, it doesn't mean like, that's for sure. No, it's more of no, keep going this way. Keep doing what you're doing, right? That's what signs should mean more to us than a definite for sure. Because we could change our minds, we could stop doing things, we could be mean to them all of a sudden, right? Like, a lot of things can happen. So keep doing what you're doing. If you're seeing signs that you like, that's usually a great example of continuing down that path. Hope that helps. See if I can figure out even close to where I was at. Oh yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Did you make effort to see Zuzana? Did you make an effort to meet your partner? Or did you just meet by chance as you were living your life? For me, it was more an issue of like opening it up, and it was kind of just something that was there. It had been, and I've talked about it a lot frequently. We put filters on, and I truly think this is the best analogy, and anyone that has done this will see. But we put filters on. And those can be beliefs. They can be, we think it should be something else very strongly, which is still a belief. And so sometimes when we're very focused on creating a very specific outcome, we miss any other potential possibilities. It's one example I use frequently is winning the lotto, right? I want to have money. I want to have wealth. I want to have a house. I want to do a lot of things. But a lot of people say, I want to win the lotto. And that's a very specific kind of micro way to do it. You can, but ultimately, if it's all these other things, well, let's manifest those. The lotto is something you can do, but money can come in a lot of ways. And so by being very focused sometimes on where we find love or how we experience love, we turn off other avenues. And it's funny is when you finally change the lens and you're like, nah, I'm just open. I really just want to be in love. I want to be in a good relationship. I want to have a wonderful person. Right? And like for me, it was describing. That was probably the one thing. It was like making a list of all the attributes I really wanted of someone. And by opening up to just, all right, show me, I was just like immediately. It's like, wow, I always sitting here, right in front of me. So it's funny how it works is all I know. And a lot of times, truthfully, I think we get to where we need to be. We get to, because the timing, the way it worked out with this person was uniquely good. Like it was, a lot of things were at work in a broader scope, and the timing of it was perfect. So I think these things evolve together. And I think, again, that's what's so hard for a lot of people when it comes to relationships is we expect instant. We expect instant. I want it now. I'm so used to now, but relationships with people aren't like that. They're just not. That people take time, dates. You have to go on a number of dates to start like getting, you don't just see each other on Instagram and then instantly you're in a relationship and you never actually spend time together in person, because instantly when that happens, things get weird, right? If we've never had that social interaction. So there's so much more to a lot of these relationships. I am off on a tangent like nobody's business. Question from Augustin Jr. Villa Gomez. Question, I don't know how the person I want to manifest. Question, I don't know the person I want to manifest, and there's a deadline to manifest. Well, I don't like deadlines. I've said that a million times. Not a million times. I've told myself a billion times not to exaggerate. I don't like deadlines. They cause a lot of pressure. They'll cause you to, I think, accept things that maybe aren't the best choice. So sometimes when we set things up like that, I mean, I don't know. I just personally haven't had it, and I've seen it not work well for a number of people, but it can. So, hey, anything's possible. That being said, focus on what it is that you want. Kind of let go of the time frame thing as much as you can, because, again, that doesn't help. And when you just focus, like maybe going to bed, holding someone, maybe seeing the back of their head, maybe you know what color hair you'd like them to have. I don't know, right? Like something sort of, maybe you don't have a face yet, so you can have your arm around them. You can smell them. Like try to put as much reality to it. The feeling of being like in bed together, like holding them, right? That it's that feeling that really does the creation. And I think if you do that and go to bed each night, as Goddard likes to talk about, doing that, I think you'll find a great deal more success moving towards the ultimate outcome. And again, try to leave the time frame out. I mean, if you really want to, you can try to imagine her talking about, I don't know, moving in or you moving in or something around a particular date. If you really want to try to add some sort of oomph to that, maybe, I can't believe you're going to be moving in this Friday or whatever. Maybe that kind of helps you get moving in that direction. Peter Cass, I manifested criticism from one of my clients, which now I need to work with this week. And I noticed I've been watching a lot of content on athletes being criticized performing this week. Let me ask you this. When it comes to the case of athletes being criticized for performing, in a lot of cases, Peter Cast, a lot of cases, right? The athletes maybe Could have done it better. Maybe they did miss a tackle. Maybe they weren't swinging the bat right. Maybe the club wasn't as natural, right? They were just pulling a lot of stuff left. Like a lot of the times when these criticisms are coming, it's because it's based off of some analytics, and it's based off of knowing what it takes to succeed. What I've found in my life is there's been times where I've been like, all right, I'm going to become more successful at sales. For example, because I've done sales too. I don't like it, but done it. And what'll happen is instantly I'll start to manifest people either A, being critical of sales, me learning about sales, books popping up about sales, and kind of learning about it and getting critiqued on my technique. And what it does is it makes me better at sales. And that's kind of the process with anything in sports, with anything we learn through practice. We learn through criticism, critiquing, through people that know it better than us, looking at the mechanics of what we're doing and saying, you could actually be more efficient if you do this. This would actually save you a ton of time and money. And it's not a fail on any one of us. It's growth. So how do we see this? As growth, or do we see this as criticism? And I think it's really important to understand that although it hurts, and I don't like it either, no one does, no one likes it, it's actually super helpful in creating, it's super helpful in creating the outcomes that we desire. And I think that's really what we're doing. And I think a lot of us forget that. When we're trying to manifest things, sometimes that means other things have to happen in order for the manifestation we're desiring to be successful. So, example of sales. I want to be a super successful salesperson that's making, way six figures, north of 300,000 a year. And if I'm like a new salesperson making like 50 grand a year right now, there's probably a few things that I need to get really good at. Maybe one, specializing in some form of product or pharmaceutical or something, right? Like finding oil, finding something niche that you become very good at. And you get to the point where you can sell the crud out of that to anybody. Like they say, selling ice to an igloo salesman, right? The ability to be able to sell something to somebody that doesn't even necessarily want or need it. That's when you become that person. So a lot of the times that requires training, learning. Like some of us aren't good right out of the gate, and you shouldn't be. Some of the best athletes in the world right out of the gate aren't necessarily the best in the world. No, you get better at it. So hopefully, I am just rambling, aren't I, today, guys? I apologize. Another random one. I identified my mother using fear, religion and HIV to fearmonger. I know my intentions isn't to call that experience, but it pops into her brain. Rainer, I guess, Wells. Parents for sure use all sorts of techniques. I'm not going to say right or wrong. I think a lot of the times you so desperately want to make sure your kids do the best they can. You so desperately wish you could be more involved in the decision making because, frankly, and like it or know it or not, when we're younger, we tend to make more mistakes than when we're older, and it's just one of those things. It's part of growing. And sometimes our parents try really hard to keep us from making mistakes, which I actually think is kind of dangerous too. But there's this whole balancing act that occurs. And sometimes they try to dissuade us from making decisions that can affect our lives in permanent ways. And permanent to someone that's, say, 45 versus saying the word permanent to someone that's 20. There's a bit of a difference of what that word means. And it's not right or wrong. It's not. It's just odd that as we grow older, it does affect what long-term or what forever means, or for what, a lot of these things mean to us that when I was a kid, I was like, wow, I didn't. I thought I did. But, and then relative to where I was at the time, I've even said that before, it was true, but yeah. So your mom's just trying. I mean, I'm not trying to say she's right. I'm not trying to say you're right. I'm not trying to say anyone's right. I'm just trying to, that's, I think, kind of where she's coming from on that. And maybe she's just a little scared that you're going to, do something scary that's going to freak people out, or freak you out, or ruin your life. Nicole, how you doing? Another great, well, I love thank you. Thank you for sharing all those nice things. Desert Ropes talking to other people. If you manifested your SP, how do you keep him? He's not happy with our relationship, and nothing I do is working on the physical level as far as pleasing him. So again, a lot of times we can be in situations with people that are in different places. I don't know what your guys' situation is. This is light evolving Hotep. We can be in situations, I mean, typically I see a lot of times where it's growth factors. Two people are in very different places in their life. They want very different things from a relationship. One thing I have seen is people do tend to give what they desire in return. And I'm not saying this is happening. I'm just saying maybe he's showing what he kind of wants, and maybe it's not quite what you're giving. And I mean, again, there's complexity to this, I'm sure. Maybe he's just in a different place than you. I mean, again, it's hard to say. You can certainly imagine whatever it is that seems to be off. Like, imagine him maybe saying to you, hey, honey, I finally realized, like, here's what we should do. We should go on a vacation, or we need to, dress up in costumes and chase each other around the house. Whatever the thing is that you guys come to, and hopefully those are too extreme enough to make it fun for your guys' imaginations out there. But, I mean, imagine something that's going to help bring resolution to this, something that maybe is missing from your standpoint, because, again, these things are coming from you for the most part. So what is it that's missing in your mind? What's missing from him? What's he not doing that you want to happen? Rather than keep trying to do things to him to get him to do things back, imagine him doing that. Imagine him reciprocating, maybe even having a discussion with him and being straightforward. I mean, guys are dense. Hello, I'm one. I'll step on that landmine in a heartbeat. I've done it many a time. Like, again, one thing that's funny with men and women, by the way, is most of the time we don't know when the other is flirting with us. Most of the time, neither of us know. Like, guys, how many guys out there that are out there right now that you've been with a girl that a dude's flirting on? You're like, dude, he's totally hitting on you. No, he's not. He's just being nice. No, that guy's hitting on you. No, he's not. Trust me. Right? Other thing around. Women, you'll say the same thing to us guys. Lady's totally hitting on you. No, she's not. She was just like barely, she's like noticed my pin or something. He's like, I know. Yeah, she was hitting on you. She's totally sizing you up. It's like, Again, it just happens so differently. So I had a point somewhere in there. Rob Green, Desert Rose, you guys, I love when you guys chat with each other. It's so friggin' cool. Let's see. Someone just got a text. That's awesome. Really? I feel like we're towards the end. This is very good. Maybe I'll cut it early. I had someone yell at me the other day for being too. Well, he didn't yell. He typed at me with words that suggested he was unhappy with my live show being 2 hours long. And he's like, you could have made like 12 videos out of this. I'm like, it was a live, man. I can't edit this. Do we have to pay to ask questions? No, people have been asking questions all over the place in here for free. Go ahead, Christian Brodesnax. If you ask me a really long email question, I'll probably suggest I do email coaching. I don't get too crazy in there. But that being said, let's see. Sharon M. Someone affirms every minute and try find feeling and be happy. Isn't that enough? If someone affirms every minute and try to find, so I feel like this is a case of someone like. Maybe I'm wrong on this, Sharon M. But do doubts pop up into your mind and that worries you, and you're afraid when they do that you're maybe doing damage to yourself? That fear, I don't want that to happen. So if I affirm every moment, and if I do this and I do this, then that'll, right? No, like find the thing that's causing the doubts to pop up. Look at it. Go, why are you not believing this is possible? Or am I not good enough? That's what my point of this kind of the video earlier is. And if you haven't seen it, that's fine. I get it. These are long. Any point you could pop it in. But that kind of is where that's coming from, is look to see what the root of the problem is and look at that. Hug it. Don't run away from it. Don't try not to experience it. Like, feel it, look at it, see it. And then from that, you'll find in a lot of cases, that's that internal change that we always talk about. And from that internal change, the outward things start to happen the way you would like them to. So I think that helps get us in that place. So yeah, hopefully it helps. Rafael Prados, stay in. How you doing? I'm good, thanks. Thanks for asking. I have a question regarding it's SATS. I tend to fall asleep even when doing it sitting down. How can I overcome the problem? Thanks. sleep apnea? Is that sleep? I don't know. Is that sleep apnea? Is that, what is SATS? I got to look it up. Let's see. SATS. What's that stand for? I don't even know. They got SAT pops up. I don't know what SAT is. S is. Maybe you guys can help me with that. That's going to make that answer a lot easier for me. Let's see. Augustin, thank you. It was short notice, and I was given a deadline to look for a position. I was working with Endgame and having that feeling. I'll continue doing the work. Yeah, I mean, I got laid off one time, man. I mean, I've been there where it matters and you got to do it quick. But ultimately, it's just focusing on doing it. And in that case, pounding the pavement. I mean, I was very active. I'm filling out stuff. I'm trying to ask people. I'm like, I got all the sensors on, and that typically makes a big difference when I think trying to manifest. Like, you're open and you're out and about and you're making yourself available rather than hiding in a room and just sending, why'd you post it online? I don't know why anyone's not getting me. Well, get in their face, like be involved. I like to. That's just been a motive for me. I don't like being that guy on the back of the room. Sometimes I'll move my way up there and raise my hand and ask a question because I want to make sure they know who I am. It's an important thing to sometimes get that in their face or get someone to notice facially who you are or what you are. Bummer, I lost where I was. Speaking of all that good stuff. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, cool. I'm finding where I was. My confusion. All right, Sharon Combs. My confusion in manifesting is how often should I do it? I mean, we hear ask, believe, let go. So I wonder if I keep manifesting, am I not in belief? Probably. First off, just the fact that you're asking the question, if you're not in belief, you probably know. The one thing I find, and this is, I think, will help answer the question for you in a better way. I find if there's little concern, so if you're trying to manifest a thing, for example, sometimes one and done, you're solid. What I found with people is people are sensitive to feelings. People are sensitive to that experience of the now. And so when we think of somebody and we are feeling vibration, I talk about thought transmissions a lot. I think it's Neville Goddard's thing, but I've done a bunch of it. I love thought transmissions, and I love playing with them. It's fun. I've literally played with these with strangers. It's a blast. But when you think of someone, you send them energy. You affect them energetically. I think it was Celestine Prophecies was probably the first book I ever read that really got into this type of stuff. There's a link in my thing below. It's just because it was a book that was very significant to me. And I actually love James Redfield. He's written some really, really good stuff. But that energetic transfer is very powerful. So doing regular experiences of that with someone can keep hitting them with sort of a good feeling energy. And what that does is that creates the next time you see them kind of more of a, oh, hey, it's you again. Hey, Linda, how are you? Right? Like it gets more of that thing going on. But there are a lot of cases where people have a lot of doubts during the day. And so they feel like, well, I need to do this, or I want to do this to speed it up or whatever. And in those cases, you kind of probably want to be doing it more often as well. If it's just because it feels good and you like doing it, then do it more for that reasons. If you do it once and let go for a day or two and think about them, they pop up and you're like, I like it. And you kind of live from the end and keep doing that fine, do that too. If you want to once a week have a neat little experience where you think about them for a while, maybe you go on a walk and you know, there's a couple things about the walk that you love and it's just a great little moment for you to spend 30 minutes just wrapped up in them. Do that. There's no right or wrong way. It's an issue of keeping yourself comfortable, keeping yourself at bay, and continuing moving in that direction. Certainly holding that feeling night after night after night, like Goddard talks about, is a great way to keep insisting on that motion. I've talked about letting go. I've talked about doing that. I've said both, and ultimately both are all over the literature. Do what feels best. That's really what I think is the secret ingredient. If it feels good, do it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. It's like exercise. It hurts when I do this. Well, then don't do that for a little while. Maybe you got an injury in your shoulder and you're making it worse. So be careful, So that's a good way to look at it. All right, I manifested my SP marrying someone else, but he is not happy. How do I manifest him back? Question marks. We're getting into some tough places here. You can manifest things on people. This is where people hate when I ask these questions, say these things. I mean, okay, let me give you the easy answer. Let me just give you the easy answer. Just keep imagining them coming back to you. Keep imagining telling you that this situation didn't work out, the previous marriage. Will you accept them back, that they've been through divorce, like they got it annulled? Imagine those kinds of things happening, and you'll be putting energy towards that. I would suggest you include making sure it's good for all involved, including the person that maybe you're asking a divorce from. Maybe they really, really love this person. So hopefully making sure that they're good in the end of this. And then however families are intertwined and whatnot, maybe try to keep that in mind. I mean, you can ultimately just hold the end result. But again, if it's trying to benefit the most number of people, a lot of times that can be a big benefit. Goddard's talked about that in other places. Just be careful when people are in situations that maybe they're happy with and we're trying to change that. That can have bad effects back. That can reflect back on us. So if they're on board with that, and if they definitely aren't happy and definitely are starting to kind of look like they want to maybe step away or make changes, then yes, for sure. If they're on board with that, yeah, go at it full steam knowing it. But yeah, put energy towards it. Maybe put energy towards you having a discussion with them around that. Again, that's just getting into territories that I want to be careful, because I don't need any karma coming back on me, for sure. But yeah, if you hold the vision of what you'd like to happen, you're definitely putting stuff towards that. Christina, question, what advice can you give for people who need to manifest multiple things at one time? Example, money, house, job, all at one time. I consider keeping those things together awesome. I do it all the time too. Does it speed it up? I don't know necessarily, but when they all tie together like that, I think it helps in the big picture. And so with a little bit of patience, doing what you do actually goes a longer way in the big picture, I think faster. And I've been kind of handling it like that myself. And the growth has been nice and steady, and it's happened through a combination of those things. So I personally like it. I am bored by one thing at a time. I am sorry. I don't know if it's because I'm a Gemini or what, but that bores me. I can't do one thing at a time. I've got so many irons in the fire, and I love the fact that I do, and it's exciting to me. And every day I see evidence of something happening. Like, I love it. So for me, I couldn't possibly do one thing at a time. I'm just not wired right to do that. But yeah, if you just want to like or single thread something, do it. It'll happen probably super quickly. But yeah, for your point, that's more my style, and it works for sure. No question about that. Let's see if I can find somebody that's asking questions. All right, let's see. Lady Diaz, you seem to be asking questions. I've been manifesting my height, did some imagination and inner conversation. I've gotten signs. For example, my sister texted me that I was tall. My boss said I was growing. Well, there you go. Bam. Making yourself tall. Let's see. Rob Green, I know that if something negative might appear, which is inevitable, it can drag my focus on it, and it's like draining my self-worth and optimism, and it's rather difficult to refocus on productivity. I notice a lot of people kind of have experiences like this, and they want to blame the experience, and then like it's the experience's fault for why, I was never able to get back on track. And ultimately, you got to be able to get back on track. It's your thoughts. It's yours. Think of a brownie. Love brownies, right? Chocolate brownie, moist, delicious. Cut that little brownie. It's in the tray, right? You can see a little cutting, and then you can even see how the knife's got little bits of brownie on the edge, right? And then you take that, scoop it out, because some of it's a little sticky on the bottom. You scoop it out. You want me a brownie? You're thinking I'm a brownie right now. Don't tell me you can't change your thoughts. I know you are. I know you can. So I don't accept that, right? That's not acceptable. If you're having negative thoughts, spin that. Turn that frown upside down. Find a way. Affirmation, something. But I don't accept this. Yeah, that just ruins my day. And you let it. You let it. Let it. You got to own that. You got to step up and own what's going on in your world and your focus. It's not anyone else's fault what you focus on. It's completely you. What you entertain yourself with, what you allow thoughts to percolate in your mind. If someone says something that maybe even activates something, if you focus on it further, that's your choice. Again, these are all our choices, and we've got to own them. We've got to stop trying to blame everything outside of ourselves. It happens inside of ourselves. We create these situations. We then react to it and create more of it. Instead of seeing it reflect back and go, oh, I didn't like that. Okay, change what's going on inside of me. Don't keep doing what I was doing, because that just made an ugly spot. I'm going to try something different now and see if that makes a clean spot. Or at least stops making ugly spots. Hopefully that helps. Yes, Purple Lava. You ladies that are, you people that are out there helping answer questions, you guys are the best. Purple Lava 77 was just talking about how she likes to help out. No, it's awesome. I love you guys for helping out. All right, Renee P, I guess it is probably. Hey, Dan, thanks for your help giving others. As for me, I do not need your, okay. I am manifesting giant. There you go. Yeah, maybe you can be one of the people, Renee P, to help out other people in this wonderful experience. Let's see, Lady Diaz, you said, okay. Trying to see if people got questions in here. What about health? How do you lose the dot when you are physically not well and feeling every day? So I just did the video I did yesterday or whatever. Like, watch that video. It was a success story from an individual that actually had a deteriorating organ and was able to turn that frown upside down. So again, not sure what the situation is, but you focus on the health, you focus on the well-being, you focus on every night hearing the doctor say, oh my God, this is a miraculous cure. Oh my God, it's amazing this has happened. You keep focusing on hearing that. Literally, watch the video I did. Just go to my videos. This live one won't even probably show up there, so it should just be the first one that shows at the top. And I literally talked about that in that video. I mean, it's a pretty good video too, honestly. I think it's one of my better ones. But we'll see if others agree. Yeah. I appreciate, Nicole, you're saying something really cool here, and I don't mean this I don't want to pat myself on the back, though this kind of is, I guess, a little bit, but you say, I love it, you guys do a great job, and Dan clearly attracts big-hearted folks. Likes attract likes, right? That's the thing I always think. A lot of you guys are like, Dan, you're awesome, Dan, you're awesome, Dan, you're awesome. I mean, again, it's neat to hear, but you guys are awesome. All of you, all friggin' 110 of you right now, plus anyone else that watches this, you guys are awesome. We attract each other, right? This is, again, togetherness. It's a family. That's why I frequently like to tell like new subs, I just subbed, and I'll like comment and hey, welcome to the family. Like I love the way you guys are with each other. It is beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. So thank you all. And I'll definitely give a bunch of you guys call outs here when we tie up. But you guys, I think we're gonna, as long as I keep getting questions, I'll keep going. But otherwise, we'll see. I'm getting to the bottom of the list. I'm not used to that. Let's see. What about health? Yeah, so I talked to that. Rob Green, doing your increment. Okay. Bitty Wop, you are a reincarnation of Neville Goddard because you explain the law good. That's sweet of you. That's funny as heck. But that is pretty cool. Let's see here. I have a question. Let's see. Desert Rose. I have a question. What advice do you have for someone that can manifest everything but the SP? Well, it sounds like a belief issue right off the bat. I would, again, one thing I ask, just take a step backwards sometimes in this case, right? And really draw out what it is that you want from a relationship. I mean, it's just a good exercise, I think, to do in this situation. And I'd be curious what the results are. But do a list, 15, 20 things on a list that you want from a healthy, awesome relationship, your dream relationship, everything you've ever wanted in a relationship. This is a list of all the things that has to be there, or should be there, or be ideal to be there, or I assume will be there. They're all good words. Then compare that to the SP. If the SP is literally checking off a bunch of those, then just keep at it. Keep at it. Keep feeling the wish fulfilled. Do it every night before you go to bed. Keep living it. I mean, if there's frustration to it, I've said frequently a lot of times to people, this is one of the best times to let go for a little while. One of my favorite concepts of letting go for sure is when you let go and actually just throw up your hands. A lot of the times within 24 hours, some of the signs you get are unreal because you finally get out of your own way. The doubts in our head screw us so much more often than any other thing we're doing wrong. Badly. So sometimes just getting out of our own way, we're like, wow, all this cool stuff's happening, or they'll text you out of the blue. And like just the last 3 days, you're like, they won't text me. They never text me. Why won't they text me? Because you keep saying they won't text you. The second you stop doing that, they're like, oh, I finally text them. Okay. Their higher self's like, yeah, go ahead and throw the text now. And then what's funny too, this will happen even too. This will be funny. They'll open up their phone. They'll be like, oh crap, I never hit send. Have you ever done that? You ever typed out a text, thought you sent it, thought you clicked send, and then shut the phone? And then later you open it up and you're like, dude, I never hit send. Oh, like bummer or or oh, right? Like the reaction's usually a bit of a like not the best. So kind of funny how things happen. But that being said, compare, make sure everything matches up, and then just keep at it. Don't give up. Never. Like I said, just persistence makes the heart grow stronger. question, been manifesting my SP for a couple of years now. Really had the feeling down perfectly, but now I'm okay if they don't come back. What does that mean? I've found that comes with growth, with time. There's a lot of things that can speak to, and can be beautiful too, by the way. That's that openness. That's when you really are at that place where you're happy with who you are, you're happy with where you're going, and you're at a great place. Sometimes we might change our minds. Sometimes it's getting to that place that actually makes the manifestation happen. Like they frequently say, the second you stop looking, there it is. Or the one I think is so ridiculous is things are always the last place you look. Of course, like who the hell finds something and then looks one more place? I found my mouse. Is it here too? Where the hell's my mouse also? Right? That's silly. No one would ever do that. That's ridiculous. Question mark chimed in like that. Gemini's rock, you straight up. Hey, 619. Oddly, the day before my birthday. Look at that, Mr. Gemini. Mr. Lots of question marks. Question? You just walk around constantly with your eyebrows just like, huh? Right? Like that, constantly aware? Or does every sentence you say end with an upward, so are we going to the beach? Right? No, is at the end? That's the question. Anyway. It's been 15 months. Third party is gone, but he moved to another state for work, trying to stay positive. Wait, been 15 months. Third party's gone. Well, that's good. How long's the third month been gone, Desert Rose? I'm curious if you, but that's good. That sounds awesome. Let's see. Pup love is all over. Word. Eric J. Do not try to hold someone someplace they do not want to be. So true. Eric J. That's like, seriously, people, like his advice, it's true. There's a lot of people that say that. Don't get mad at them. Don't get mad at people. Don't get mad at the messenger for delivering messages that you don't necessarily want to hear. Sometimes maybe we need a small alteration on what we're doing internally, what we are trying to ask from someone. I mean, I've literally heard people try to manifest bad things on people because they're frustrated and hurt themselves. And those kinds of things aren't okay. So yeah, be really cautious of manifesting bad things on others, because it will reflect back on you. That's kind of the law. If you're sending out stuff that's junk comes back. If you're sending out love comes back. It's good stuff. Let's see here. Can you do Rampage of Appreciation to find feeling? Would that help? Sharon M., can you do Rampage of Appreciation? I've never heard of Rampage of Appreciation. To me, that sounds very similar to an oxymoron, like a Dodge Ram. Like, how can you dodge and ram something at the same time? You can't. Or they like to say Central Intelligence Agency, right? Intelligence. Anything that agency does not deserve intelligence. And it's a joke, some would say. Others would say it's true. Whatever. But that, I think it's kind of funny. Rampage of Appreciation. I don't know. I don't know what that is. It seems kind of contrary to itself, but if it helps you feel better, that's what I always say. I don't care. You could call it the tomato-y of tomatoes. And if it works and makes you feel better and sees what you're doing, then bam, right? Maybe there's some weird Italian tomato fest where you slide down a water slide into a pile of tomatoes. Maybe it's a good time. I don't know. As long as they're really ripe and squishy, it'd probably be interesting. In a weird way. Yeah. Dan, how do you like to break down, man? Dan, thank you. Paula Gooding. Thank you for saying that. Major Day, I appreciate that. I have a question for you. Are dead people also me pushed out? No, I don't think so. I also don't. I'm Jonathan. I'm not huge on the whole. So far, and I've said this before, and I know there's a quote somewhere, so I'm just going to say that up front, but the only quote I've seen so far in this reader I've got, which is 10 of his books, and there's still a bunch of it I haven't read, but the world is you pushed out is the direct quote from Goddard that I've seen so far. Not everyone, not you, not us, not some. The world is us pushed out. So that being said, I'm still on the fence. I think we reflect out, and I think bounces back as us pushed out. That I think for sure. I've done shows on it. If you want to hear how I get into it, I've done a bunch, and again, it's just a subject you got to walk on eggshells around because some people are very adamant about it. And it's okay. I'm just sharing what I believe. But that being said, I've experienced dead people a lot. I don't think they're us pushed out at all. I don't think that even remotely relates. But that would be really pretty cool to go ahead and take it to that level too. I mean, then let's talk about life on other planets, maybe, possibly. Just throwing that out there. What was Goddard's take on vengeance is thine, saith the Lord? He doesn't talk about vengeance ever, and in fact, anytime he's ever suggested you sending out will on others, you are kind of asking for it in return. I'm guessing this is probably Old Testament, because the Old Testament God was a little more grumpy than the New Testament God. Not that I'm saying one's right or wrong. I'm just saying there's oddly a difference, it seems. That all being said, I don't know. I get a lot of things are said, and I think there's a lot of teachings in the Bible that have purposes, and some of them seem to promote behavior that seems very non-religious. Wow, I'm lucky that came out even close to that way. So that's probably all I'm going to say on that, because God knows what other... that's a hard subject to talk about and not just totally offend people. Let's see. I figured there'd be like 4 people on the video now. Rob Green, one more thing. Should you focus on positivity or deal with negativity, or focusing on positivity also resolves the negativity? There are teachers who promote dealing with negativity first. Depends, kind of goes into what I was talking about. It really depends on what's causing the negativity. If it's just a once in a while negativity, like every once in a while you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get stung by a bee, right? Like, like, come on, that's okay. Like, bless, release, and erase that. You affirm, do something like that. You're okay. If you keep having that thought day after day after day after day after day, and you're afraid to go outside, right? Like, that's different. In those cases, deal with the negativity, because that negativity, you can't just keep putting a Band-Aid on a festering wound, right? If you have a wound that's festering and you keep putting a Band-Aid on it, but you never treat the wound, it just gets grosser and grosser underneath that Band-Aid. And every day you're like, I don't know why it's not healing. Well, because it's a mess. It's the same thing. So if it's truly a mess, fix the mess. If it's not a mess, affirmations and stuff will get you through those little moments where you're like, dude, you suck. It's like, why did you just say that to yourself, Dan? That's not nice. No, you're doing great. You're doing fine. Relax, right? I do that to myself. I'm a little harsh on myself sometimes. I'll put myself in check. I'll be like, hey, don't you dare talk to me in that tone of voice. Right? I'll get into that. You know I will. All right. Kick tubes. Just ran 4 miles. I'm assuming you meant in 30 minutes, or listening to you thinking my nearly manifested SP. Awesome. Nice. Well, good for you. Wow. Like, I would have died, let's see, what's probably 1/10 of a mile into that 4 mile run. You'd see me dead on the side of the sidewalk. I need to get better with my cardio. I can do some, but God, no. Running's brutal on me. I love it. Jackal, wouldn't it be best to try to remain in the feeling of the wish fulfilled? Probably. If I didn't say that, I'm sure that was a good idea as well. At one point, the subconscious will believe the wish is already true. So just to explain what at least Goddard is really heavily talked about, J. Foracle, in case that's Jackal, I don't know which. Goddard's very specific about the subconscious, at least a lot in The Power of Awareness, which is the book I've been doing a lot. And the subconscious is the part that reacts to the feeling. So that's why the feeling's so important. So yes, the remaining in the feeling of the wish fulfilled is important. Remaining, anyway. I think desire falls in that. These are cliche words that are fun to try to define to people, but like really, like to say to 110 of you, feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled and just remain there all the time. Okay. Anyway, thanks guys. Right? Like that's a total like, whoa, no, hey, explain that. That doesn't make sense just at its face. So again, it's a very different thing. But I love that. I love it. And you're right. Life happens when you kind of remain in that place. Rampage of Appreciation is Abraham Hicks. Oh, okay. Ah, really? That she chose Rampage? Huh. I hope that's actually her. That's a trip. It just seems so weird. It's such an odd choice of word. But I guess if you're on a rampage, if you're going to be on a rampage, I could see her saying it like this. If you're on a rampage and you're going to be in one, then why don't you turn it into a rampage of appreciation? I could see Goddard saying it, or I could see Hicks saying it that way. But that being said, yeah, I mean, if it works, if it gets you thinking and appreciating, I'm so appreciative of everything. I love my blinds. I love the paint. I love that picture. I love me. All right, I can see how you start just finding things, and you're eventually going to start getting into the things that really you do appreciate. So I can see that working. All right, sure. Rampage of appreciation. Shoot. Abraham Hicks reference again. Dude, thanks, BP. Dude, you've been here since Texas, y'all. You've been here since the start. Good deal. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Let's see. Hi, Cher. Love it. I love that Cher's on here. Gardner, of course. I know, right? I was trying to be funny, and then I realized it's probably not. Melanie, she tried the Astro Letters 2 days ago. Came by to pick up the rest of his belongings, and he didn't talk anything out like I wished would happen. Well, okay. But you guys didn't fight, right? There you go. That's a step in the right direction. So maybe there's a little more darkness in those days, but that is a step. That being said, I don't know. I don't consider Astro Letters to be the magical fix it. You're trying to get forgiveness to happen. You're trying to get over something. You're trying to let go of something. So I think that's a very important concept to keep in mind. Happy Heart, I did watch your video. You mentioned it was like amazing. Oh. Revisions will help with the health issue, like if you revised the first day you felt ill. I think spending time back on the first day you felt ill is focusing back on illness. I'm not fond of that. I've talked about that with Agnes, even on shows we've done together. I don't promote that. I won't teach that. And I wouldn't say, I mean, if it works for you, cool. I wouldn't teach that to anybody myself. I say you focus on being healthy now. You don't try to focus back when I first got sick or before I got sick, or because there's still that reference point to when you got sick, that you're not letting go of the sick part. The way you get healthy is you focus on being healthy. You don't focus on healing an illness. You focus on being healthy. Goddard talks a lot about it. I did a video on it recently. It's the only thing. I mean, other than that, we're probably maybe just semantics, so I'm not trying to beat up on you. I hope it doesn't take that way, but it's just because it's an important point, I think, to say to a lot of people is instead of trying to revise when a certain thing was going on, why don't you just look forward and see a world where it didn't matter instead of that. That's still a revision. That's still changing it. Like, that allows you to make a mistake and grow from it and have that mistake not hold you back for the rest of your life. That, to me, is valuable. So maybe that's where I'm coming from on that. Alaya Comics. What does it mean when stuff disappears and then reappears? I lost glasses, lens once, looked everywhere. Once I forgot about it, I was at the store getting a lottery ticket, and it hit the floor. I've seen that happen. I've seen, like, can't find something, and then you finally stop, and there it is. I've seen it cause panic. I don't know. I mean, there could be a lot of things going on. I'm not sure why. Glasses, I can't even think of what that possibly remedies. I mean, maybe you're losing occasional sight, and maybe you need to look at maybe behaviors that you're doing that are affecting maybe your psychic, maybe your third eye. I mean, it's odd that there's only one lens. I don't know. Some of the crazy things that are popping into my head. Run with that. Who knows? For the love of food, is your birthday June 20th? It is. Your birthday is June 20th. That's awesome. I happen to love food too. I don't love eating as much as I love. Wait. Yeah. Well, I guess yeah. I like the whole idea of making the food and the meal and all that, but it's like eating's kind of the chore almost for me. But it is fun though. It's delicious. So I don't know. Whatever. I'm weird. Spooky as it sounds. I have a question about your video about not telling others about your manifestation. Oh yeah, great advice. Not that I'm the one. It's just everyone tells that advice. I made that mistake. How can I correct it? I usually try to back away, but once you've already told people, it's kind of too late. So I don't recommend trying to revise it and worry about all that. Just stop bringing it up. If they say stuff, sometimes maybe just say, yeah, I'm not really doing that anymore. Like, I've literally lied to friends. Let's put it that way. I've literally just straight up told them stuff that wasn't what I was working on because I'm tired of talking with them about it, and that helped. Like, just getting them to not ask me on a regular basis caused everything. So a lot of times if there's someone that's a naysayer, for example, and they're like, this doesn't work, be like, yeah, I finally realized it doesn't work, so I just don't do it anymore. And they're like, yeah, that's awesome. And like, they'll still bring it up maybe. There's something I did that was silly that I still has affected my life forever, and I just got tired of trying to explain it to people. My parents still bring it up from time to time. They're still like, you remember that situation? I'm like, yeah, I do. I know, it was crazy then. Just got to do what you got to do. But I find that when you allow other people's opinions to matter, you allow what their beliefs are to affect what you can create. And I've found anytime I've ever tried to create anything that was hard to find people that were in agreement that this was the best approach, especially when you're going against the numbers. It's a good idea to not listen to what they have to say. And I've also suggested too, by the way, if you're going to talk to anyone, talk to people that have actually accomplished what it is that you are doing or what you're trying to do. If you find somebody that can demonstrate it, yeah, then hear what they've got to say. It is very very helpful to do that. So anyway, yeah. Purple Love. Dan is. I'm sorry. It's sad that I want to read stuff. Anyway, what about doubt? Okay, that's what the whole thing is about. Carrie G. What about doubt? Cancel out your manifestation. I can be neutral and positive for a long time, but occasionally get hit with doubt. Occasional hits with doubt, like you're talking about, neutral, positive for a long time, and then occasionally have doubt. Yeah, just affirmations. Affirmations should get you through stuff like that. That doesn't sound like a concern. You're going to have doubts from time to time. Questions are going to pop up. You're going to wonder if the date's going to happen, whatever. Stuff does happen, but you've got to affirmation quickly and just be like, don't allow yourself to go spinning down that path of, I don't know, maybe she's going to cancel. Maybe the babysitter won't have, right? Like, don't allow yourself to start making assumptions and going down that path. That just tends to lead to frustration and anger and all that stuff. Natalia, hi Dan, trying to manifest me working as a radio DJ. Nice, maybe even one day a week, not a full time. Just wanted to talk once a week about music. Any advice would be helpful. So yeah, I was a radio DJ, and initially I started in college. I went to Saddleback College, was where I did my radio stuff, and it was awesome. It was volunteer, and it was some of the best technology, at least for our school. It was really good technology. The station was KSBR. It was 88.5 FM. It was jazz music. It was horribly boring to play, but it was good times, and it taught me a lot about radio. So I would recommend that. Local junior college. There are smaller schools where you can do radio. Ultimately, it comes down to practice, just doing it. Have a pretend radio show, do a YouTube channel. All that stuff kind of gets you practicing. I mean, if you want to see, like, if you can get back to some of my oldest videos, you'll see that they're horrible. Like, horrible. Like, I came along when I even was a DJ, and it was just so hard to just sit there and talk about something interesting. I mean, I never did that on the air. It was always Knoxville's Classic Rock 103.5 WIMZ, right? It was always come in, that was Black Eyed Peas or whatever that, right? Like, boom, boom, boom. Hey, check out the car wash next week, and we're going, That was it, right? Like, then you'd go out into the next song. You never talked for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or hours like now. Talk radio, you do. But anyway, so that I recommend. Get into it. Do it. If it's something you want to pursue it. Start getting your demos cut up. Get some good demos. Get it all worked out. I don't know how we do air checks nowadays. We used to record them to tape, which I'm sure it's digital now. So whatever. Get all those crushed up. Audacity, if you're not using it, it's a great multi-track program that's free. It's what I use for a lot of my recording. Good stuff. So yeah, a lot of good times with the DJs. But I worked at a bunch of crap stations. Like, for sure, I volunteered for the first 3 years, and then I worked 2-3 years at little 1,000-watt stations, making next to no money, a minimum wage usually, and then finally got in to the big station, the overnight guy anyway. It wasn't the greatest shift, and I certainly didn't make good money, but it was a really cool job, so it was a lot of fun. Let's see. Yikes. Wow, Melanie, thank you. That was really sweet of you. I just popped down to that. Anyway. Where are we here? At the same place. Glasses, lens appeared. Cool. Where are we at? I'm like losing sight. Kim W. What do you think about giving people unconditional love? I am trying to love people more in a way that it's hard because so many people think treating things as transactional. I probably read that poorly, but unconditional love, actually, literally, I don't know if I can find it, but this is just funny that this will sort of prove my point. But I think, without a doubt, is one of the best things that we can do. Yeah, here it is. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it says just be love. That literally, that's like if can't do anything, if you can't do anything at all, and you want to make a difference in your life, just be love. Be love. Like, so your point, literally, yes, that's an amazing way to go about it. People will see things as people will see them. Don't be one of them. That's the difference. So if everyone else wants to see things as transactional, okay, you don't need to. you can realize that what you're sending out is what's coming back to you. I see it more as the multiplier effect, was kind of how it was explained to me in earlier books. It might have been Neil Donald Walsh. I don't remember exactly where, but yeah, the fact is what you send out kind of bounces off other people, the ripple effect. And if you're sending stuff out and it's bad comes back. If you're sending good stuff out, good comes back. So sending out love you will be amazed at the way things start to change in your life just by initiating projection of love. Because remember, it's all us pushed out, right? So it reflects back. When you've got love reflecting back on you, life is a lot more enjoyable. And these people that we're trying to manifest, and these situations we're trying to affect, when you're sending love out, you'll find people react very differently to you than if you're always a grumpy Gus. It's a huge difference. So again, energy and just your general overall, the way you tend to feel on the inside of yourself is hugely helpful towards creating your manifestation. So hopefully that makes a difference. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Texas and Melanie, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys again. I love your relaxed approach. Thank you, Sunshine Fee. I love your name, by the way. It just makes me laugh. Like they probably will try to tax us for the sun at some point. I'm waiting for California to do it. We'll be the first state to do it if anybody does. Let's see. I guess, but there are people. Oh, you're probably responding to someone else because that seems out of context. Listen to the last one on health. Cool. It was a really good video. It was a success of a dude that had a heart problem, literally organ degeneration. So it was a very, very cool story. A ska show would be something. All right, June 1st. Cool. Ska. I haven't heard ska in a long time. That's very interesting. Looks like I'm getting towards the end. Guys, if you got questions, throw them in there. But if not, I am getting towards the end. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Oh, cool. Kindred Soul. That's a fun question. Do you believe in narcissists? If so, do you believe they can change through LOA? Do I believe you can change a narcissist? No, I actually don't. If they're a true narcissist, I doubt anything you're ever going to do in LOA is ever going to be received by them. I'll be honest. I don't think so. Again, Goddard talks about it's reflected back if they're not willing to accept it. So you can be upset with me on that for sure, but it is odd, I think, how many narcissists are appearing nowadays. I'm not sure if it's the gathering, it's just there's so many of us around nowadays because we're all here, or if it has more to do with the social media and the way that's really promoted this weird sense of self and then getting praise for self. So that's created some interesting dynamics. I'm not 100% sure how it's all played out, but yeah, if someone's truly a narcissist, you're probably going to have a very hard time influencing them out of that. There's a difference between service to self and service to others. It's literally two different paths. There's a whole thing that was done back in 83-ish or whatever called the Law of One, something I'm very, very into. It's super cool. You can look it up online. It's a fascinating set of literature or reading. But anyway, that all being said, there's two paths, service to self, service to others. Narcissists are on the service to self path. It's just a different path. That's what they're supposed to be. They're being how they're here to be. They're meant to be. We may not like it, but that's our opinion. So we can either learn to appreciate who they are as they are, or we could manifest someone that's not narcissistic, or someone that's healthy, or someone that's service to others like ourselves. So again, I know you're supposed to be able to say everything can happen with Law of One. You can't force other people to be something. I don't believe that can happen. And I've done videos on that, but I don't believe that to be the case. You can try though. I don't know. I really enjoy your last video, live linked video on astral letters. I was wondering if this would be a technique to pursue if the person I wish to address the letter has passed away. Yeah, I mean, if you're still carrying stuff, for sure. First off, they'll hear you way better than they did when they were alive. They hear you very well. VJV150. If you want to talk to them, they're going to be there. But yeah, for sure, astral letters with someone that have passed are exceptionally useful. In fact, I would say in some cases, it's almost like our subconscious can allow that process to happen even more efficiently because of the fact that they're dead. Like, we can believe that they can feel us more than we can if they're alive, because then that seems like, well, if you're alive, how do you know they feel you, right? Like, I don't know. It just because I think a lot of us assume when you're dead, there's a little more going on, maybe a higher dimensional thing, God's at work, who knows, right? A lot of questions, but it's good stuff all the less. Kim W., I remember a video you did a while ago that you said, "What would love do?" Yeah, thank you, and that's true. What would love do? I think I feel like I probably gave credit to Marianne Williamson. I feel like that's sort of something I learned from her. Oddly, she was running for president, and they were so mean to her. That's just so upsetting. But that's, I mean, I don't mean from a political standpoint. She's got some interesting views that probably wouldn't work as a president, but I like her as a person a lot, and I think she's a lovely, lovely lady. So anyway, that was very disappointing. The Sunshine Fee, when is your next live talk? I try to do them every week this time. That's been my thing for about 5-6 weeks now, maybe a little longer. It's 8 o'clock Pacific time typically, and I usually try to go about 2 hours as a general rule. Much longer than that's just tough, and I don't know. I like being available to people to ask questions, so I at least open it up. If you guys stop asking questions, I'll close down early, but that's generally what I try to do. If you guys like them, come join me on Saturdays. I love it. It's my Saturday anyway. And it will be similar to this time. Like right now, it's 9:45 my time. And like I said, I usually start around 8. So I'm an hour and 45 into it. So if that helps you figure out what time of day it is in your neck of the woods, then that might just make it easier for us all to join up together next time. Whatever you do to another, you are always doing to you. Is so true. Purple Lava, you're awesome. You're awesome. You know your stuff. Big fan of Dan. You're awesome. Thanks, Giselle. Out here from New York City. New York City. Get the rope. Do you remember that Pace Pecani sauce commercial? I don't know if they ever play it out there, but it's pretty funny. They always say this stuff was made in New York City. Anyway, it's always got to be a Texas accent, too. You got to know. Gots to know. Could you give us a little manifesting practice that we all can try until your next stream? Oh, that's an interesting thought. Wow, that's a good one. I want you all to manifest somebody giving you some sort of food item. Think of somebody, a friend, offering you, I don't know, a bottle of water, lunch, plate of food, something. Manifest somebody giving you some food just out of the blue. You didn't ask for it. It's coming. Or I don't know. I think that's a fun one because you get to eat and it's easy and it still counts. And, sometimes a victory is a victory, right? You don't need to make it everything difficult. Maybe we can try to get more complex things. The other is the fun ones, the beach ball. Someone even commented in one of the videos that they'd watched one of my videos where I was talking about manifesting a beach ball, and like 2 days later, they manifested a beach ball. So you could try that one too. I love the beach ball one. That was my first manifestation, intentional manifestation anyway. And that was, it was pretty cool how it played out. That was fun. Hey, Rafa, watching you from Brazil. Hey, I work with a bunch of dudes for a company called CINT that work out in Brazil. I think Sao Paulo is where they're mostly located. And let's see. Saúde, you sneeze. Jumais, and then Ahombado. Anyway, hopefully you're a guy, you're a man, I don't know. But anyway, those are the 3 words. That last one's a bad word. But anyway, that's pretty funny. Israel here, nice, and you're in Israel. That's very, very cool. Hopefully it's all calm and collect out there right now. Merlena Bontas. Yes, sounds great. I don't know. I just saw your name. I don't know why. Does it matter if you have negative thoughts afterwards, if you successfully planted the seed during the state akin to sleep? Yes. What you focus on and feel always has power. It's not just during the technique. The techniques are just meant to help create those feelings. But if you have thoughts and feelings at any point of the day, they create outcomes. They create reality. So yes, it does matter if you do it after, before, during. Anytime we're doing anything that requires us imagining something or thinking about something or entertaining a thought, and then we have a feeling about it, pushes it out just like that. It starts to send its way. So again, I've said this before, and I'll just throw it out again really quick. What if I say something just out of the blue, right? Like a one-time thing. Is that going to screw everything up? What if I said, I wish you were dead, right? Like, no, you don't mean that, of course. So what you say right after you say something silly like that is you go, I bless, release, and erase what I just said, or I bless, release, and erase. I wish you were dead. I bless, release, and erase. Boo, no, right? And it's a way to just kind of pull that back. So if you say something you don't mean to say, that's how you do that. So that you kind of pull it back a little carefully. Let's see. Awesome. Allison, revision. Do you revise it once and then let it go, or should you revise? You keep revising it when it comes to revisions, Amy. You want to keep revising it. You keep doing it until basically it's changed. Understand that the second you revise it and truly feel it, I mean, from what Goddard says, at that moment you create a sequence of steps that begins a new path from that moment forward. And that's essentially how it's going to be. You can kind of continue to revise that if even if the first revision isn't quite right or maybe isn't totally working, then you can revise it a little further. And again, you're just creating new steps from that point. So again, we're all steps down the path that we started last week. And if we take a small variant and then tomorrow we vary it a little more, it's okay. You're just taking steps. You're moving in the direction you want to go. And it looks like we're getting down to the end, guys. We're going to give you. People always give me free food. Well, see, like you're already a master. Do you want to try the beach ball one, Purple Lava 77? Maybe that one would be more appropriate for you. You actually, I don't know. I forget who the person was that said they manifested that. But anyway, Melanie, want to say thank you once again. BP_XRP, because everybody knows. Feels like it's a burp. I don't know why is what I keep seeing when I see that is burp. But that being said, I know you're from Texas. Yeehaw! In fact, I work in Texas. I'll be heading there next week, San Antonio. I work for a company that is based in Stone Oak. So, yeah, we got a little knowledge of that area. I've been in Austin a couple times, too. Outside of that, I think I drove through Amarillo once, and that was an experience that I've tried to leave in the past. But that being said, it is what it is. Let's see. Sacramento. Yeah, I've got family up there. I got an aunt and nieces, nephews. Spent a lot of summers up there, and then we drive out to Tahoe for a few days. Love it up there. Love it, especially Lake Tahoe. Absolutely gorgeous part of our whole area. So that is awesome. Sergio Roman. Is that how you say it? Roman? Hope that's how you say it. The accent's there at the A, I'm assuming. But yes. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. I guess Houston. Oh, okay. Well. Anyway, I've never really been to Houston. I've been to the airport. I frequently do the Houston airport. I either hit Phoenix or Houston. It's usually Dallas sometimes. Depends on the airline. Whatever. Hey, so we're going to go ahead and start thinking about closing out, guys. I hope that's okay. Steak dinner sounds so good. Sounds really good, actually. I hope everybody's well. I hope you guys are good. I hope I'm playing the right song here. Nice. Had to make sure I wasn't playing it's like a CD changer, right? So I got like 5 discs that would have been bad to spin up. This one's okay because this is like YouTube music that's copyright free. So I'm making everybody happy. Not doing anything I shouldn't, even though I appreciate the heck out of it. But you guys are the best. I love you. Again, we're going to try to do this every week. For those of you that are here, you can join us again, I hope. And for those of you that haven't joined, well, then it's hard to talk to you yet. But for those of you that are going to join, 8 a.m. Saturday, LA time, Los Angeles, California time. If that helps, that's when I typically start. And then I usually try to 30 minutes beforehand, I'll try to pop up a little window that says, hey, this knucklehead's going to start doing a live thing in 30 minutes. Oddly, there was there was 10 of you guys on before I even started. That was pretty cool. And a bunch of you were still here. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Peace out, everybody. You're the best. I love this family. Thank you.